All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just wait. I'm gonna keep getting these motherfuckers. All right, I think I'm just gonna start just kind of going right in, and then I'll let people, I guess, play it back or something like that. Now, one of the things I kind of wanted to get into today is that we already know how the left wing left wing ideology and policy infect people, and also it's not good for the people that they're trying to help. One of the big things is that I kind of go in with was is women, and women in actually in relationships. Women in relationships are definitely at a disadvantage when they follow left wing ideology. One of the things right off the bat is tattoos. Tattoos right off. I mean, let's be fair here. I mean, I know a lot of people think that's sexy. That's not sexy to me. You know, tattoos are mainly for people that are or trying to kind of put forth a certain bit of some of the stuff is remembrance and things like that, and then you're in something that's personal to you or whatever. But a lot of it does have that in your face. I don't give a damn about society and that maybe I'm a little bit traditional when it comes to that, but to me that's not attractive. It's not feminine. A lot of these women being big, overweight, and all these other things like that. When you're over, that's the average guy for the most part does not want that. So to sit back and just act like that's something that's going to help you find a mate, it's really not. It's really not the in your face attitude, the masculine energy, and things like that. And these women, and there's a lot of women that are sitting back wondering why I can't. Well, I have no idea why I can't find a man, and that's going to be one of the issues. I mean, on top, and then when it goes on top of just a fizz from my little, on top of the online dating and things like that, because online dating isn't really, it's not really set up for any kind of longevity of any kind or anything like that. It's more set up. Honestly, online dating is more, to me, it seems like it's more masculine than anything. Because it's more on how looks, attraction, pictures, things like that. Those are things that are not really conducive to a long term relationship. It's just not. I mean, it's just flat out not. So that's kind of one of the big issues that we're seeing today is you're seeing so many women that are sitting back talking about they can't find good men, they can't do this, and I'm like, well, a lot of it, and that's all racist. A lot of it is mainly, plainly, these women. It's what it is. What they're being told to do and what they're actually going and doing. Now, that's my thoughts on that. Was the main thing that kind of hit me today, and it's like I don't think we're not in a good place, men and women, because women, they have women playing kind of a role that's more set up for men. To be honest with you, that traditionally men were setting up. That's just the truth. All right, so here's my first little tweet, little outstanding thing that I saw for today. And one of the first one is here we go. This is Will Wilkinson. Now this is a guy, I don't know if he's been fired yet. Which, let's be honest, those of us that are not about the cancel culture, we don't want to see the person fired. What we want to see is, or what we're doing more than anything, is just calling out hypocrisy. And you have a lot of people on the left that are hollering about, well, I thought y'all weren't about cancel culture. Well, no, the thing is once again, I think that's them actually trying to be intellectually dishonest. Cancel culture is actually saying, hey, New York Times, we're going to go after any kind of way that you have of distributing your newspaper or distributing it online. We're going to make sure that that doesn't happen. That doesn't mean that's not the same as someone saying, hey, we're just boycotting. Because a lot of the people, let's just say something like kneeling the NFL and stuff like that, nobody was trying to get the NFL. That wasn't cancel culture. Nobody's trying to get the NFL to not be a thing. You're saying, hey, I just won't tune in anymore. But this is what this guy says. If Biden really, now he's a New York Times opinion writer. If Biden really wanted unity, he'd lynch Mike Pence. Now, that's actually pretty damn. That's a pretty scary thing for someone to write. And we're supposed to want these people are apparently are going to want. We're supposed to unify with these people. And I've said it already before. There's no way in the world that we can do that. There can be any kind of unity or things like that, because let's be fair here. These people are not. Let me make sure that let me make sure this is actually, see something real quick. Give me one sec. Make sure. I think you can hear. Can anyone hear? I'm having audio issues, man. Let me make sure. Okay, yeah. I do have audio. God dang it. Let me make sure this. All right. So that's a shame. Okay, so my issue with that is we have nothing we can unify on. If these people are sitting here saying that therefore, late term, the A word. if they're for banning guns and they're for all these different things, how am I supposed to? There's no way in the world that I'm on the same page with these people. I'm not on the same page with these people, and we can't unify over anything. There's no way to unify over a damn thing if you're fundamental. Now we can, there's little things off to the side that you can say, hey, this, even something when it comes to the A-word abortion, when it comes to something like that, you can actually say, hey, look, to even have the conversation of saying, hey, okay, well, first trimester. Now, if you say first trimester, now then we're talking, okay, so anything past that. But no, these people are saying no matter what, beginning to end, we're just going to do whatever we want. That's a whole different situation. They don't want any guns at all. You want to let in and legalize 20 whatever million, however many millions of illegal aliens. We're not going to meet in the same place on this. So this whole thing of unity, flat out, when it all comes down to it, these people don't want unity. So why do these people why do there Republicans, people and libertarians that keep talking about peace? There is no peace. All right, so I don't know if anyone else saw this about the PCR test or whatever when it comes to the WHO. Basically, in so many words here, is saying where tests do not correspond with the clinical presentation, a new specimen should be taken and registered using the same different or different NAT technology. WHO guidance. Okay, so, and then it says most PCR assays are indicated as an aid for diagnosis. Therefore, healthcare providers must consider any result in combination with timing of sampling, specimen type, assay specifics, clinical observations, patient history, confirmed status, or any contacts and epidemiological information. Now, what they were saying right here is that the test, you can have false positives. This is the same thing that people that have been skeptical and or people that have been that are asking for a little bit of nuance on this whole thing have been saying for months. They've been saying this for months, and all of a sudden, we were told that we were called science deniers. Listen to the science. That's what we were, and now all of a sudden, WHO says this. Now, what it looks like to me, this is a great way right here. This is going to be a great way that they're going to actually have it where they're able to manipulate and start having these numbers start to gradually go down when they want them to go down. I think, and you could already kind of see the little bit of a shift right here with the NPR. This was January 19th versus January 21st. January 19th, it says as death rate accelerates, U.S. records records 400,000 lives lost to coronavirus. Now, NPR has never wrote anything that I've seen that is positive in any kind of direction towards the coronavirus. Now, all of a sudden, 21st, around the time or a day or so, whenever the WHO says its current deadly U.S. coronavirus surge has peaked, researchers say. Absolutely. Of course they have. Of course they've peaked. There's no, of course they've peaked. This, of course they peaked. That had to happen. That had to happen. I honestly, it's like no one wants to say that we just all been lied to, but I think we've all been lied to. And these people are going to set the narrative and the tone on everything and make everyone say, "Oh yeah, Joe Biden totally had this under control." That's where this is going to go right now, and this is a shame. This is where this right here is flat out narrative, just actually setting a narrative. That's what it is right there. And everyone's going to go along with it, and they're going to say, "Oh yeah, we listen to the scientists." On to the next one. All right, so Andy No. Now, he's like big, and he as far as on Twitter, and he talks a lot about Antifa and things like that. Now, what I found funny is he's saying breaking: Twitter has suspended several prominent Antifa accounts. The Base BK is one of them. The Base is an extremist bookstore in Brooklyn, New York, that has been used as an Antifa training center. Now, I think what's happening right now is the establishment is trying to put their weapons of war. They're trying to put their weapons of war away right now. That's what they're trying to do. See, because I said this on previous videos. What this is, what Antifa, the far left, Ocasio-Cortez, all that stuff, all that is kind of like their nuclear. That's their nuclear option. They use that on the right. And now I wonder if they can actually put this back in the box. Because think about it. Look at this. Before and they did this in response because they were breaking out windows in Seattle, I think that was just yesterday. Down there talking, because now they actually said we don't want Obama. I mean, not Obama, but Biden. Well, basically the same person. Biden is not enough. So what they want and the established Democrats want are two different things. So the Base had 16.8 thousand followers. Another account, MFGWM, had 30.8 thousand. Revolutionary. The other one was cut off, but the Revolutionary Abolitionist Movement, 11,000. These are all far left people that had got their accounts suspended by Twitter, which is kind of funny because they've been allowed to run wild for the last 4 years with nothing being done. Now all of a sudden we get who we want in office, and then suddenly we want to start enforcing rules. It's absolutely amazing. But I don't think that they can put away that toy. I honestly do not think that there's any way that the left, that when they use this toy or this weapon, I don't think they can put that away now. I think you're stuck with it now because now it's been allowed to run wild, and these people are going to show you. Honestly, I do believe that. That probably was not the smartest move for them to do that. Go to the next, my next little screenshot that I saw. See, New York Times, the daily coronavirus cases are dropping across the U.S., but health officials are increasingly concerned that this is a temporary lull. I think the next 3 months could be the worst part of the pandemic. One expert said. I hope I'm dead wrong. Of course, they don't hope they're dead wrong. That's the first thing. That's right off the bat. They don't hope they're dead wrong. But what I will say is them saying things like this. This right here will help them control the narrative. And I know I kind of had the NNL thing in the middle, but this is something totally different. This right here to me is another method of attack here, because this is them being able to say, look, we're gonna put out some good news and say everything's going down. If something does not go the way, or they need to press, or they need to if Americans are doing something, maybe something that they don't necessarily like, the other side is doing something they don't necessarily like, they can spike it back up again. I honestly believe a lot of that whole variant in another whatever, I have a feeling that a lot of that's what they had to do with it. Because I know, what was it, Fauci was just on TV saying that the vaccines don't seem to be very effective against the variants. I'm like, oh, here we go. They said 100. Joe Biden said 100 days. They said that once we had the vaccine, everything, all this stuff, is we were going back to normal. This is not going to happen. These people are not going to let back to normal happen. That's not back to the normal that they want. That'll be the normal that you end up getting. So I think I got Jesse Kelly. If anybody is on Twitter and does not follow him, he's been pretty good. One thing I like that he says, a stunning indictment of Trump. Stunning. President Joe Biden has confidence in FBI Director Chris Wray and plans to keep him on the job, the White House press secretary said Thursday. Of course they did. He's pretty much fired, or everyone had to resign under the Trump administration. They kept the FBI director, the same FBI director that is not going after any of the FBI people that, like Peter Strzok, whatever his name is, and Lisa Page. The same FBI that won't go after these people, the same FBI that spied on his campaign, the same FBI that put him through the Russia investigation, the same FBI that did all these different things against President Trump, and partly under Comey, and then under this guy Chris Wray. Trump should have fired this man. Trump should have definitely fired him. There was no way, ifs, ands, or buts about it that Trump should have fired him. Because that is a stunning indictment of Trump. That Joe Biden kept the person that was not helping to actually do his job with the FBI under Trump. I think this one was Tariq Nasheed posted this. And it's not funny that Hank Aaron died, but that is a little weird that it says Hank Aaron, 86. That was January 6th. Received the COVID vaccine and hopes to inspire other black Americans to do the same. And he died today. Yeah. Let's leave that where it is. I'm just going to leave that where it is. It's open to interpretation, or however you want to think about it. All right. So this is a pretty good little thing here. I'm gonna try to go ahead and get this all queued up. All right, so it looks like Texas is suing the Biden administration, and I'm going to go ahead and read this from MSN. And I'm so glad that Texas is doing this, and every other state, any other good state should do it. Texas on Friday, I'm going to go ahead and read it. Texas on Friday moved to stop President Joe Biden from allowing a 100-day moratorium on deportations, bringing one of the first lawsuits against his new administration in rushing to court. And see, I don't really like that you can tell that I'm going to just show it. You can tell the little bit of bias, or not even a little bit, the bias of the person that's writing this. It says, in rushing to court, not even a week after Biden was sworn in, there's a little bit of bias right there. America's biggest red state signaled that it was ready to resume the role of chief antagonist to a Democratic president's immigration agenda. After 4 years of cheering on Donald Trump's hardline policy along the southern border. See, you can't even get your effing news. You can't even get your news because this is what they'll do. The federal lawsuit seeks to halt the deportation moratorium for certain non-citizens that was to begin Friday. Biden has already signed a raft of executive orders, including one revoking Trump's mandate that made anyone in the U.S. illegally a priority for deportation. Texas claims the moratorium violates an agreement signed in the waning weeks of the Trump's presidency that required the federal government to run changes to the immigration enforcement past the Senate first. BuzzFeed News, of course BuzzFeed News first reported that the Trump administration similar agreements with Republican leaders in several states. Legal scholars have expressed doubt that the agreements will be enforceable in court. Failure to properly enforce the law would directly and immediately endanger our citizens and law enforcement personnel, Republican Texas Attorney General Kim Paxton said. The Department of Homeland Security referred questions to the White House, which did not immediately respond. The lawsuit, which repeatedly cites Texas' agreement with the Trump administration, was filed before the U.S. District Judge Drew Tipton, a Trump appointee in the Southern District of Texas. Since taking office Wednesday, Biden has made quick work of the show far-reaching intentions on immigration that would unwind many of Trump's crackdowns. His first steps included stopping construction of a border wall with Mexico and lifting a travel ban on people from several predominantly Muslim countries. Biden also says he will push to give legal status and the pathway to citizenship to anyone in the U.S. before January 1st. An estimated 11 million people. It's actually more than that. We know that. Texas shares more than 1,200 miles of border with Mexico, which the state's Republican leaders say makes them particularly invested in the nation's immigration policy. It has received thousands of refugees annually before Trump virtually ended admissions. The state is currently leading the fight to overturn the defendant action of the DACA program Obama instituted in 2012 that confers limited protections on immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children. Friday's lawsuit echoes many of the same arguments Texas is making against DACA, that immigrants without authorizations drain education and healthcare resources. Supporters of the immigrant protections say that those arguments are flawed and that the immigrants help the state's economy and healthcare sector, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. How does 11 million people in the U.S. illegally? If you want to help, I've said this before, if you do want to help the healthcare system, why don't you? This is, I'm Canadian. Welcome to our hell. Boy, ain't that a shame? It really sucks. But seriously, what if we did not have those 11 million people here? You want to know how you can just get the load off the healthcare system? Getting people out of the country that have no reason being in the country and will be going to the doctor. How do we not? Like I've said before on plenty of time on this video, on this on my channel, I'm just a blue collar dude. I understand this. I understand this. Cheap labor for corporation, lower wage for workers. Absolutely. That's why I'm renaming this the American Worker. That's why I started over. I only made it two live streams before, and I called it the blue collar worker. That's why I'm calling the American Worker number one. What I've said this before. I don't care about black, whatever. The American worker. When I ask people, when they talk immigration, I said, how does millions of illegal aliens, how does that help the American worker? The American black worker, white worker, Hispanic worker, whatever. How does doing this help the American worker? It only helps corporations to hire cheap labor. It does not help anyone else. So what the hell are you talking? I've said this. All of these people talking about Walmart or helping these big corporations. How does Walmart help the American worker? Walmart pays crap. They don't. It does not help citizens. Exactly. It doesn't help the citizens in any way. So if we can, that's why I would love to start a party. That's called the Blue Collar Party. Seriously, not just a party, but a segment or a section of the party. Every question that you ask or every policy needs to be, how does this help the American worker? We moved when Trump was still president. We moved the embassy to Jerusalem. How does this help the American worker? Exactly. Every single one of them. I ask you again, when they talk about not deporting in the DACA, whatever, how does this help the American worker? That's all I'm asking. Of course, a person I used to talk to that I knew real well up in Illinois. She was first generation. Well, she wasn't first generation. She immigrated here from Sweden. She's a nurse. Filled out everything the right way, whatever. She did what she did. And she's saying that in Sweden, they're getting a bunch of Somalians up there. Or Muslims or whatever they're getting. They're getting whatever they're getting up there. They're stressing their healthcare system and their social safety net system because all they do is come up there, they don't work, and they sit back and complain and get benefits. Now their whole system is stressed right now. Are they not? Is the Biden administration, when we're all talking about it, we're talking about the healthcare system. What about just the social safety nets that we have here? How does this help the American worker? When people come over from China, when they come over from anywhere South America, when they do whatever, when they come in and drop a child and just have one for free, never pay for anything, how does that help the American worker? How many hospital beds is that taking? New Democrat voters, and most of them will vote. Once again, the Biden administration, Biden wants 11 million new Democrat voters. How does that help them? How does not having, I'm going to keep saying it. How does not having a choice between three different parties, when has not having a choice ever been good for the American worker? Please tell me. When we have one party that just sits there, if we're having one party that's absolutely running everything, how does that help the American worker? How does not having a choice affect how does not having a choice affect the American worker? That's all I can ask. Now, you guys can look that up in the and then when it all comes down to it, they're talking about caravans and everything else when it comes to the COVID pandemic. Yeah. How does a bunch of people that haven't been tested help the American worker? This is all we have to ask. That's it. The average American citizen, the average American worker, how does it help them? And if it doesn't help them, then it doesn't, of course they're going to get crushed. They don't want a middle class. They only want two. There's either going to be them and everyone else. It's absolutely amazing. What are we supposed to do? As honestly, what are we supposed to do as the American worker? There's no way that we can survive when there's no choices. No choices of a damn thing. There's no, how's that a good thing? We literally get no choices of in people that can actually debate. So what? Do they not want any more debates? No more Democratic debates? Is that what they don't want? No more RNC debates? Is that what they want? Because if only one person, so what? No, what do you want? None? You want the little fake opposition leader that comes in dictatorships, where they'll have the one guy say, "Oh yeah, he's running against him," when it's already a foregone conclusion he's going to lose. Is that what they want? Anyway, that's they love a one-party rule. This is what they want, and you know what comes out of love one. You said that's what they would love. Do you know what comes out of that? Really crap policy, because it doesn't get vetted. It doesn't have to go against any other kind of policy, because iron sharpens iron, right? But if it never sees any kind of opposition or anything like that, then you just have really crap policy, right? It's just it's absolutely amazing when you really look at it. Let me turn it off. It's absolutely amazing. Anyway, that's the first stream for an American worker. I'm going to get better and better at this. Whatever. I'm just putting my thoughts out there into the air, and it's just these things seem like it's so easy for them, but to want to go and change complete systems is, that's easy to do, but to come up with something better is a lot harder. So anyway, comment, like, share, subscribe, and all I can do is hope at this point that there's enough people that start waking up and start understanding this. And Texas looks like it's one of them. I can't believe Texas is doing that. Let's hope that every other state does this. And I'm hoping, and this is going to be the push where there's going to start being some real conflict there. All right, here we go. We're going to call that a day, and should be on tomorrow. I'm going to try to, I don't know if I'm going to have the Tim Pool dedication every day, a couple videos, but I'm going to do my best. All right.